Hello everyone, welcome to week 3 of Codex Full Stack Developers with Python. Alright, so I'm glad to continue with this week. And in this week, what we are going to cover, we're going to cover the models, packages, and imports, right? So we're going to talk about what is an object, what is a model, what is a package, what is an import, and those things. So we're going to start with objects, right? So what is an object in programming? When we say an object, what is an object? And then we are going to go through that, and we go to models, packages, import, and then we're going to go through that, and we go to hands-on practice, right? And so we'll write some code to do some amazing stuff. Yeah, so we're going to have some fun. So let me just start with the Windows guys. So as usual, if for Windows, you have to search for Visual Studio Code. Where is it? VS Code, right? Then it opens, and then you can see here that we created a folder for it, so it's already there. But if your folder is not there, you can just go to open folder, and then you can go and select the folder you created for the course. So the one I created here was on desktop in Python 2020, and then I open it, and that's it for me, right? And then we have the terminal here, so as you know that there is the terminal that we use to do stuff. So what we're going to talk about, so we create another folder for week 3. Okay, so in week 3, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about objects. So once I create a file called object.py, yeah, and then I'm not going to use Windows. I'm just always want to feel like I need to go through how things are done on the Windows, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page, so those who are using Windows will not get missing. And as I've said, so this is your terminal. You can click here for it to go up, and just when you're there, just be playing around with this thing. Right? We just be playing around with it. So to open the terminal, let's just open terminal here before. Just do something like Ctrl+Shift+P, okay, and then type terminal. Okay, so terminal. So okay, so Windows, the shortcut is Ctrl+Shift backtick. I mean, it's weird. Ctrl+Shift backtick. Ooh, that's good. Anyway, so that's how to open the terminal. Let me just close it. Or you can open the actual. You can just, if I do Ctrl+Shift+P, it will open this place. When I say, you can just play. See, we have integrated terminal, right? And then if I do the password, if I do Ctrl+Shift and the quotation mark sign, that opens the terminal for me, and I can close it here. That's in Windows, because in Linux, or if I do external terminal, that one will open this one, right? So it's kind of the same thing. This is also cool to use. So I can just cd to week 3, right? And if I do dir, see there's nothing in there, week 3, except the objects.py. Alright, so you can put this one somewhere. You can write some code in there. Going to week 3. Week 3, and then I'll open the terminal and do Python object.py and to enter week 3. So if you are using Windows, I hope this one refreshes how to do stuff for you. So let's go to our normal stuff that we use as a Ubuntu. That's normal for me. So Week 3, so let's start with object. So what is an object? So let me start by so here in Linux you can just do code dot. If you have installed Visual Studio Code, you need to open the code in that particular folder. I don't know if it happens in Windows, or I can try it. So week 3. So in week 3 we have looked at object. We are looking at objects. Right. So this is a terminal also. This one is what is this terminal? We call it it's a quick terminal. Yeah. But you also have another terminal here that you can open, then you can use it. But I prefer to use that one because it's quite simple, makes things very easy. I can do it with the terminal. So terminal is terminal, but anyway, you can also use the terminal inside VS Code. So let's go into week 3. So always you can verify that you're in the correct folder by looking at what is here, right? So we're going to look at what is an object, right? So an object is made up of variables and functions. Everything in Python 3 is an object. You can create your own object using classes. Right. So an object, we've already learned what is a variable is and what a function is, right? So a function you can call a function, and a variable you can create a variable and store things inside a variable, right? So an object combines these two things into one, so that you can use both of them, and it's quite convenient, right? We just do these things for convenience sake. So first of all, as we read here, everything in Python is an object. So let me demonstrate that to you. For instance, suppose we have a string. Okay, let's create a variable with a string. We'll just create a random variable, Kofi. Right now, even though this is a string, right, in Python it is an object. And since it is an object, it has certain functionalities or certain things that it can do. Okay, so if I do name, right, it's an object. As I said, an object contains, I've said the object contains so let's see, there's an object, right? It contains two things. It contains functions and variables, right? Functions and variables. So variables and functions. So if I want to use it, so I'm saying that everything in Python is an object. Name now is an object. So everything in Python is string, whatever a dictionary that we went through last week. We went through a dictionary last week, right? So remember, in the dictionary, I did something like student.values, right? And it brought something out. So if I run this and go to week 2, and Python 3. Right, it is printing out the student.values. Okay, right, but here is student.values, right? The values here that you are seeing is a function inside the student object. The student here is a dictionary object. In the same way, I'm saying that the name is a string object, right? And the string objects also have their own functions. In fact, they have a lot of functions, right, that you can use. So let's go to Python website. It's at python.org, right? We go to their documentation. We go to Python docs, right? So when we go to the documentation, what's new Python tutorial? So let's check out the tutorial. Right, where is it? Where is this? Oh no, let's go to library reference. Okay, so built-in types, so truth, boolean, comparison, numeric, iterators, what. So let's go to string, right? So this is that we're looking at the string that we've been talking about. So string constant. So these are all like oh no, I think I'm in the wrong place. That's not what I want to look at. Oh man. Okay, yeah, this is what I want to look at. str text sequence type, right? So you see that they have something called a string methods, right? And they have str.capitalize, str.case fold, and they've explained what it does. So return a copy of the string with its first character capitalized and the rest lowercase. Dot ends with dot expand type. So these are all functions inside the string object. So anytime you create a string object, these functions are available to you. So one of the functions I want us to try right now is one called what is it? No, it's a lot. KRSTU upper. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So the upper is what is going to do is going to convert everything to uppercase. Okay, so if I just print name here right now, what you see is Python 3 objects. You print coffee, right? I do I print name dot upper. Let's see what it's going to do. I'm going to print coffee in upper letters. The same if I do dot lower, it's going to print coffee in lower letters. So this is a function that is changing like what this string is, right? So the string itself can be used for a lot of things. Now, so that means I can use this to convert everything to lower letters, and I'll convert everything to upper letters or something like that. So you can see that you have a lot of things here. A lot of objects or functions here. So one thing we can look at is a start with, right? So it will tell you whether it starts with something, right? So it's a return true if it starts with the prefix, right? So usually this is kind of difficult to read, but let me explain how it means. So if you see here, if you see start with, if you see they describe it as SCR, which means that any string at all. And then here the start with here is a function that you can call on any string at all. And then if you see the opening bracket and closing bracket, you remember from last week's this thing that if you have a function, you're calling the function this is what we call the input of the function, right? And so the prefix input here, and then you see a square bracket here. The square bracket here means that you can decide not to anything in the square bracket, you can decide to provide it or not. So the prefix is, we are saying the function is basically saying does the string start with something. So the prefix here is saying what the string starts with, right? So if I want to say let me just do it so that you see starts with, and I say that it's so we're just going to ask it if it starts with, what do you think this will print? So this is going to print false, right? So it's going to return true or false. So this is basically asking me the string starts with what? I. So this here is what they are referring to as a prefix. So this is the first input that the function takes, and the second input is the start, third input is the end. The start and the end means that you can either look for, if you have a string, you see if this is the first element in the string, second, third, fourth, right? For instance, I can say something like we've gone through all of this, so I'm just doing it, name of 0, that should give me k, right? So if I want to say select yeah, let's just find that. But for this, so this thing works for both list and strings, right? So a string, it's in Python. The Python sees a string as a list of characters in some way, somehow, right? So if you have a list, you can select only part of the list, right? So for instance, if I say start from 0, and then I bring this string here, this is our sign, you all know what it means. And then if I say 2, it comes from 0 1 2. So that means to select from 0, right? So KO. So it starts from 0, right? So it will leave out the last one, right? That's the way it works. So if I say 3, if I want to select F in addition, then I will say start from 0, so start from the first one, and I want to select F in addition. So 0 1 2, since F is 2, I also make this one 3 so that it will select F for me, right? So it actually select from 0 to whatever you put here minus 1, right? So if we go here, let me show you this. Go to list, what it has been explained. So alright, this thing should be here somewhere. Anyway, I'm not finding it, so let's forget about it. So basically, what this will do is to select from 0, so it will see KOF, right? So in the same way, this other guys here, okay, so the prefix, we know what the prefix is, and then we have this square bracket here, which is saying that it will start searching the square from somewhere, and then we have another square bracket which is saying that the square bracket means like you can decide to bring this input or not, so it's an optional input, right? In Python, when you create a function, you can make the input optional, right? And we'll go into how to do all of that sometime in the future. Right now we'll just learn what we need. So if I say start with I, and I say start from maybe 3, it's a true, right? Because it will start from the third element. This is 0 1 2, and the third element is I, right? So it's saying true. But if I don't bring anything here, then it means that it's looking into the whole string. So the correct thing will be start with K. That's capital K. Even if I do small k, it won't work. It will say false, right? So this is an object, okay, and you can call all these functions on the object, and has interesting functions that you can call on it. So you can come here and come and try it out, okay? So we have something like dot join. So let's say if I have a string, right? If I have a list, maybe let me say names, and I say Odo, Ovi, Anna, yeah, maybe Apena or something like that. Alright, and let's say maybe I want to combine all of these things. You know, I have a string, I can say dot join. So you see that this is a string. I can even call it on this string directly, you see. And I say dot join, I say names, and let me print this. So you just explain to me what is happening. Really, what is happening? So let me comment this guy out, run this again. So it is joining them by how the string, according to this string. So if I do this comma, you see that to do coffee comma ama comma space, give me comma space. Let's do something like this, you know, coffee comma ama comma ya comma abena comma. Yeah. So this is how it should work. Right. So there are other things here. It will all make sense to you if you come here and try it out yourself. So don't forget this. You know how I got there. Where you go to library tutorial. Is it tutorial? Yeah, I think you go to tutorial. And then Python tutorial, just that it's a bit unfriendly if you are now starting. No. Let's see, library reference, sorry, and then you come to sequence, text sequence, right, str, and then you can see all of these. So it's good, you should count. You say something like that. So for instance, if I have a string, let's say if I want to count how many eyes are in a name, right? Print name dot count, and I say I want to count the number of eyes in name. I run it to say 1 eye, right? 2 eyes. 3 eyes. I did equal. You make it just one element. You can make it like, okay, I want to count the number of fi's, right? And you say we have only 1 fi, so that means if I put an fi here, it will say we have 2 fi's. You feel me? Yeah. What about fif? Let's make it a fif, and then we have 1 fif. What if I put 1 f here? Just to say we have 1 fif, right? So why is that? Because we have fif and a fif. I want to, what is this? What happened there? 1, 2, 3, right? So if it counts this one, we don't have fif again. That's why it says 1 fif. F here again. And then to say we have 2 fif. Anyway, so that's it. So we have, that's what an object is. So a string like this is an object. And in Python, you can also create your own object, right? And people can create their own object, and then you can use them, right? So I've explained, I've used a string as example, so let me use the dictionary too. So let me just go to dictionary.py and copy the student here. And last week, if you remember, we did some things here with that, right? So you realize that if I just print student, right? Look like this. Now if I print student dot values, the dot values is an object, is a function in the dictionary. So for any dictionary, you can, if you have a dictionary, you can just say dot values, and then what it gave me is a list of the values. That's this, this is the key and this is the value. So if you say if I want only the values, I can say these are values. In the same way, if I want only the keys, I can say dict of keys. It is going to give me only the keys. So name, age, skill. You see that? And if I say if I say dot items, it is going to give me the items. So to give me name, guy. So it is going to take this one, each of them, and it is going to put them in what we call a tuple. But we didn't cover tuple. I mean, a tuple is just like a string, a list, right? But instead of using the square bracket, you use the round bracket, right? And once you enter element in the tuple, you cannot change those elements. So a tuple is what we call immutable. So where is this? Yeah. So that is it with objects, right? And so anytime we say that something is an object, then the question you should be asking yourself is, okay, so if it's an object, then what functions can I call on it, or what function can I use with it, right? And that's what you need to understand here. Once we say something is an object, the question you should ask yourself is, okay, if it's an object, then what function can I use on it, right? Exactly. So the same way, if you have a number, you can call a couple of functions on it. Quite interesting stuff. So let me also try with this one last thing. So let's just take the time to explore some string manipulations, or some string objects. So the capitalized, if you read it, you say it will return the cover with the first string capitalized and the rest lowercase, right? So that means if I say this one is small, right? Small letter. I print it. Everything is in small letter. If I say capitalize, what it will do is that it will make the first one big. So these are just interesting stuff that so the ends with, you can see that start works the same as start with, and then we have find, right? So that was how does this find thing, what does this find thing do? We read about the find. It says what returns the lowest index of the string where the sub is found, right? So let's say maybe we want to see can we find L here. Yes, we can find L here, and it said 3. L is at position 3. So 1 0 1 2 3, L is there, but there's another L at 4, but the find will return always the first one, right? So if I say find maybe Z in the name, there's no Z in the name, so what will it return? It will return -1, right? And we can use this thing to do amazing code and all of that. So yeah, and then we have one thing is digit. So what does is digit do? So if I say name.isDigit, digit, and then let me clear this. It's a false. So what is it asking? It's asking whether the string is kind of like numbers, right? So if I change this 1 2 3 4, it will say true. The string indeed are numbers. But if I put just a letter in there, I'm going to get what? False. Right? So they are interesting stuff. So that's for that. Let's see if the lists also do have something. Yeah. So we've looked at the functions, that the things you can do with dictionary. So let's do another one with the lists. So let's go to our list and copy some example from there. So maybe days. We have a list days, right? Of course, if I want to join the element in this list, we know we can use the string join function, right? So if I say print, and then I want to join, I provide a string that I want to join, I want to join them with say days. So if I do comma, that means it will join them with comma. This is so this here, you see the dot is on the string, that means this join is a string function, right? What if I don't bring any character there and I just make it like supposed to make them like that anyway? So what are the functions you can also use on a list? Okay, so on a list you can do a couple of interesting stuff. For we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If I want to remove Monday, I can say days.remove and then Monday, right? And then if I print days now, you see that Monday is not there. Okay, now if I do want to add Mondays again, I can say days dot append Monday. And if I do again, sorry, let me print days like this, right? So it removes the Monday and it appends will add it to the end, right? So that is one thing you can do with lists. So it's a so it seems that after this point the voice stopped coming, right? Something happened. I think someone called me and then the recording stopped working. I didn't realize that I'm sorry to already got to try to record that voice again, and it's just left with a few minutes, like 10 minutes or something. So just watching it, I'm sure you'll be able to understand what I'm trying to do. So please bear with me and watch. Thank you.